Hard hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
I'm going to Miami. And
What's going on?
Benigo, Ami. What's up, John?
What's up,
What's up,
Jimmy?
everybody? How we living? How we feeling? Bobby's in
We're-
Miami. Noah's in Miami.
Bobby couldn't wait. Bobby went to Miami.
I hope that
Did
they
it-
have SPF'd up, both of them.
Cream cheese. Bobby
Cream
went to
cheese on
Miami. Bobby went to Miami, and the first thing he did was he put on his bucket hat to do a friggin' podcast from his hotel room with Drew Hanlon. I'm
Of
like, you don't
course.
need a bucket hat for that, Bobby.
Bucket hat Bobby is in full effect. I wonder if we'll bring it out tonight.
Yeah, it's not a hard hat game. It's a
People
bucket
are
hat
saying,
game.
"Where's the hard hat?" Guys,
You gotta
it's-
pick your spots.
you got to pick it. I said this at the beginning of the year, and some people might not remember this. The hard hat used to only be for the playoffs. I switched it up. I bring it out for the big games, the big wins. You win against this Miami Heat team that just traded their best player. Listen, the Celtics did what they needed to do. They did a lot of good things tonight. We'll get into it. It's just not a hard hat game. So everyone's got to get used to it. Doesn't mean they didn't play well. Doesn't mean that we're not having they won. It's just not a hard hat game. There's a certain amount of games that are hard hat games. This is not one of them, but it's a good win. They took care of business on the road. Jayson Tatum went, dummy mode in the third quarter, and the rest is history. John is drinking ketchup again. Yes.
John Pork. I love that. What alias is that?
John Boy. Is that supposed to be you?
I don't know. Is that no?
There's a pig in it. John
no.
Pork. No. You look good, John. It's not you.
No, it's not me. Anyway, so here we are. This was a no holiday game.
Yeah, no hero.
This was a no hero game. This was a no Jaylen Brown game tonight. And so you had kind of an interesting start to it because the Celtics were sleepwalking
It's a Shireman
a little
game.
bit in the first. My goodness, Shireman.
He's working at it. He was a plus tonight.
Yeah.
There was one minus in the team tonight, John.
Here, Luke.
Yeah, Luke. Yeah. It's okay. We won't talk.
There will
about
be
it.
a Luke apology camp. Bobby did it to us again, Jimmy. He made us. He took it too far. He took it too
He
far.
always does. He's got me like with the merch team now. You know what I mean? Like
He was this close, legit, this close to saying that he should start over Porzingis. I was like, Bobby, what? What are you suggesting?
yeah.
What are you suggesting here? He's like, I'm not saying it. I was like, you're kind of saying it.
He tends to get a little bit ahead of his skis, if you will.
Bobby B. Jinx and Luke. We'll talk about this. We'll have some Super Bowl thoughts because why not?
Yeah, we will have
He
a lot
did.
of some thoughts.
And basically, I mean, it's a simple game. I agree, Catherine. Great game
Oh,
considering
they
who didn't play.
They didn't give Luke a block on that one.
They
How
didn't.
was that? No, but I feel like he definitely. I mean, I felt like he blocked that. That was it. A Bam dunk. Bam
So,
tried to assault him.
Here's what we're gonna do. Now Bobby's gonna make me apologize because I hinted that Luke
did
might
play well.
actually be outplaying Al at this point.
You did.
See what he made me do?
I think you said it. Actually, to be honest, I don't think you hinted at it. I think you said it.
I raised the question.
To your
Whether
point, though,
that's-
Al had been going through a little bit of a rough stretch. Al had a great game tonight. Hit some big threes in the third quarter. I think he had a double-double. This was a great game because two starters were out and the other guys stepped up. And we haven't even mentioned Hauser. This was a Hauser game, and we don't say that a lot. We haven't said that a lot this season, John, but that second quarter, the game changed when Hauser start hitting shots. Because they were cold as ice to start this one. It was ugly. Hauser got hot, and I think the rest of the guys said, "Hey, that looks fun. I want to do that too." And then everyone started hitting shots, and then the tides turned. Tatum got hot. Derek White had the circus shot just kind of put the feather in the cap that third quarter there. And the
Yep.
Heat, listen, the Heat will get back. The Heat will get back to playoff heat at some point. I don't think it's this year. They've got to work out some things. It's good for them that Butler's gone. It feels like a weight's lifted off their shoulders and they're just playing like basketball again and not
Yeah.
the drama. But
The
they're
good
not.
news is
they're not a factor.
no, they're not real. This is
They're not real.
somebody put it in the chat. I might agree. This might be the worst offense the Celtics have faced this year.
Yeah, Bam's like, I mean, especially again, Hero's out. Bam's the guy that can do a lot of everything or like a medium amount of everything, but he's not going to ever take over a game. And like, unless your old friend is back on the team, they don't take over the game. Rob.
But no, I mean it's a bad team. It's a bad offense. This is the one Celtics game I've been to as a fan this year. Seeing the Heat, that was Jumbotron Johnny. That was when
Did you get on there?
I got on TV with the Twins.
Oh yeah, okay.
Actual television.
Yeah. One of the guys caught you.
Yeah, one of my guys. I know one of the guys under the basket. He was like,
Yeah.
I got you. He got me. He got us on. Me and the
Love it.
girls. Yeah, it was great. We're going to hear from Joe Mazzulla. Bobby said he just spoke after the game, and
Sure was
Bobby
riveting.
and Noah down in Miami, so we'll hear from them. Those guys should be wrapping it up hopefully quickly tonight on a road
Bucket hat,
game.
Bobby, Nightlife, Noah. They're in the right town right tonight. They're in the right town. Who knows? It's Miami. Anything can happen.
And no, Brian, we'll give some. I don't know if I've got scorching hot takes, but we'll definitely hit a little bit on that as
Yeah,
well.
we'll touch it.
But I mean, Jimmy said it earlier. There's really two things that happened tonight that matter. The first one was Luke. Not Luke. Sorry.
Wait, what?
Fucking A.
Bleep
The
that
other
out.
white-
Edit
the other
that
white
out on
guy.
it. Yeah.
Get it out. And the swear.
The other sharpshooter on the team.
The other white dude.
Yeah.
Not Pritchard.
Not
Hauser.
Richard. Not Shireman.
So
Not Derek White.
everything was brutal. And then Sam Hauser just came in friggin' just
Yeah.
throwing flames. That was
Shoot or
great
shoot.
because look, what are we talking about? What do you need? Another Bobby hyperbole, which he got killed about on Twitter. The Celtics can't win unless Sam Hauser is good.
Yeah. What was that? Was he just like, I saw that tweet and I just, I was like, this is a ratio. This is a future ratio. And I came back to it later and sure enough it was. It's like, I get what he's saying, but like you picked like the 10th guy and said that about. Like, yeah, they can't really afford to miss anybody at the way that they've been playing lately. And I get it. You need Hauser to be hitting shots, but to say that they're going to go nowhere unless Hauser finds a shot, it was, again, that was the Bobbyism that that we come to know.
He's
and love.
always got to take it too far. He's
Yeah.
got to
I know.
He's got to take it. Then I have to be like, come on, Bobby. And he's like, are you saying Hauser's not important? I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. But you just said he's the most important guy on the team.
Right.
So he did it to everything. Luke is the key to everything.
Luke, Hauser, everything, all those
Yeah.
guys. The Stay
Yeah.
Ready unit or the Stay Ready crew. No, but
Yeah.
Hauser.
But that matters. Like, not only him being
does.
healthy, but so like that's what I've been like not worried about with Hauser, but like you've seen him like playing but being marginalized, coming in later in games, not getting in that regular rotation, playing reduced minutes, seeing Joe opt for double big over him. Even when you have guards or wings, or people who are out, you'd think he might slide up or slot up into a starting lineup, and he hasn't been. So it was nice to see him start. And then it was nice to see him catch fire like that because, like, you need a few of those, right? Like, we had a Luke game recently
Yes.
where he didn't hit a friggin' shot, and the chat's all lit up. Like, Luke's useless when he's not, when he's not knocking down shots. But when he's like this, it's like, oh yeah, remember that guy who never misses? That's the guy. Like, that's the guy. You
Oh, yeah,
gotta have
Sam.
that guy. You gotta have that guy.
Yeah. I agree. Facts, my dog. I mean, listen, it sounds stupid, but this is what Sam Hauser's put on the court to do, is to just hit those shots. The defense is, you're going to get by with it out there. He's out there. They want to get him looks. They want to get him catch and shoot shots. And when one goes down, you feel like they're all going to go down with Hauser. That's the beauty of it. And I think, the difference this year and last year is that everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone, but the opposing teams, like he's part of that. He's part of that, opposing team's game plan. Like, don't let him sneak open in the corner because he's going to hit that open shot. And, if one goes down early for him, like it did tonight, the rest just start to fall. I mean, that's, it's too bad that he's been dealing with that little back pain this year. But if they can, the docs and the trainers can just work that thing out, John, hit the chiropractor a few times a week. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've all got some level of back pain, right? You just got to figure out,
the elbows,
work out the kinks, get them out there, and just do that thing that you do when you just hit like 5 threes in a row. How is like Hauser and Pritchard? How are they not in the 3-point contest this year? Like those guys.
So Pritchard talked about it today. We have that sound. We can play that later on. He said
no to
it. It was mentioned. I don't know. He kind of sounded like, I broke up with them. They didn't break up with me. Sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
you can't fire me. I quit. Yeah.
But I agree. The back pain in the 20s is not great and it's not normal.
A little not chronic back pain here, but sometimes you're at the gym.
We don't like that.
You lift something the wrong way. You work it out. You get the foam roller, John. That's what you do. You get the foam roller, you roll it out, you get back out there and you do that thing that you go out there to do.
I'm intrigued. The trade deadline has passed though, guys. So
what's the JB trade? Is he making this up, Greg? He's trying to get you excited, John. Is that what he's doing? No Jalen tonight, John. What did that do to the offense? What did that do to the team?
I knew you were gonna do that to me.
Oh well, you're the guy. You're the innocent. What you see differently out there?
Look, I'll do it. I'll let the chat do it. Chat, what did you think without Jalen out there tonight? Look,
we have people listening though, not watching.
Yeah. My main loves. Look, I get it.
I and JB.
I get it. I'm not going to go as far and say what Tatum said here. I'm sorry. I don't at me, yell at me. I don't care. I've always thought it's an ill fit, but sometimes it works because you just they're both great options. And when they both have it going and it's trading off, you got to pick your poison. When you have Brown out there, you can't double and triple Tatum as much. So it has value, but allowing everything to flow through Tatum creates more freedom and more space for other people, for him to operate, for him to pass out of doubles, for him to control the flow and do everything he wants on offense without worrying, hey, am I getting Jalen enough shots?
Right.
And so that's always going to be a thing. It doesn't mean they're better without Jalen. I think that's silly, but it just Tatum gets to be on it. Tatum gets to be completely unencumbered.
It did feel like the ball was whipping around a lot in the second half. Defense was strong in this game as well. I'm not saying that's because it has nothing to do with Brown, but that's just something else I noted. Just to hold the. I mean, again, the Heat stink offensively, but the hold I needed made 85 points, pretty damn good. And they were closing out. I mean, even well into the fourth quarter, they weren't taking this game. They weren't taking the foot off the pedal for any reason. I'm not going to say it yet.
But
it's not just tonight, but I would say I've noticed it more over the last month or two. Tatum just feels like the game is slower to him in a good, everything's coming slower to him right now. It's almost like he's reading the opposing team like a quarterback reads at the line of scrimmage. He sees what's coming to him. He knows how to get out of it. He makes the right play. He makes the extra pass, or he'll take the shot. Or in the third quarter tonight, he'll get aggressive. Whatever the game kind of calls for. More recently, I've noticed he's been able to give it, and whether that's getting out of the double teams, John, whether that's attacking, whether it's taking advantage of mismatches like tonight against Terry or whoever. Obviously, it's great when you see the 3-point shot going down. But what I really like to see is when he was getting aggressive, going to the hole, going in his bag a little bit, having some nice finishing moves at the rim, getting fouled, finishing strong, going to the line, blowing kisses to the fans, being fired up. Something came over him at halftime. I don't know what it was, but that third quarter was, as if Sherrod was here, top 5 Tatum.
Jake, I want to ask you, when did the Celtics blow the doors off of this game in the Knicks game?
So
Just out of curiosity. Yeah.
So
Just out of curiosity.
I have a feeling it's going to coincide with your point. But
yeah, it was when Jalen sat in the third quarter. But that's fine. Look, it's not that.
You're not going to say it though.
What everyone is saying is correct. That it's stupid. I'm not. This isn't an agenda item. It's stupid. You're not saying like, oh, when Jalen's out there, better. It's always been a roster construction thing, whether it's best to have the two wings. And this is an argument we had forever. And it worked last year. And so everyone put the argument to rest. But there is something more freeing to Tatum when he's there. But there's also tremendous downsides. The first quarter was shit. You didn't have Jalen kind of going on his little first quarter heaters there to set the tone and set the tempo. When Brown is engaged defensively, he's the best on-ball defender on the team, and he can shut down another team's player, and he can harass them, and he can be great when he's doing all of those things. And again, when Tatum doesn't have things going, Brown can just go on a heater and put up 12, 14, 16 points in a flash and take over games. Also, when threes aren't falling, Brown's the one guy who's going to say, everyone just get the F out of my way, put his head down and go to the basket and get some easy buckets. So he has tremendous value throughout. But it is sometimes you do see a different Tatum because it just the game has to be played differently.
No, I listen.
Can't win.
It's just what your eyes tell you. I mean, everyone's watching the same game. It's funny how the lens can kind of change based on what you're watching, but I'm seeing it too. You can win in multiple ways. The Celtics have proven that. They've won with just Jalen. They've won with just Tatum. They obviously have won with both of them. They won a championship last year. But when either of those guys is in, it's a different style. Jaylen Brown has to be a little bit more, he's not the playmaker that Tatum is. So when he's a little bit more ball dominant, he's going to think more in terms of how am I going to score the ball, where Tatum can think a little bit more in terms of how can we score the ball. Right.
My stance on the two of them is it's Jordan and Pitt. Like, I'm not comparing them to those players. Jordan, Pippen. It's not 1 and 1A. He's not almost as good. He's not right there. The one guy's the guy, and then you're a guy. Maybe the best of the rest of the A guys, but it's not, it's this guy and that guy. And I know, like, we got into it last year and Brown won the, finals MVP and this and that, and that changed the narrative and changed the conversation. I think it's pretty clear that, it's Tatum's team and he's got to flow through. It's better when everybody's got their role, and so it's been weird this year. It's not just Brown. We talked about the integration of Kristaps Porzingis and how that's thrown people off their game. The integration of all of the pieces. Noah even mentioned it last game, is just when people are out, you see sometimes better elements of basketball on this team. It's not going to work against the best teams because it's just going to be a manpower issue against the top teams. You can't be out players. But sometimes when guys sit, it elevates people into other roles. It lets certain people do, more of what it is that they're good at without disappearing or having to share the ball as much. And it's good. So you do see that. And it is, just look at the entire starting lineup. You got good contributions from everybody here in this game. And yeah, you got to factor in that it's also the Heat. And that makes a difference. Noah pointed out on Twitter here, and I think that this is a good point. One of the Celtics hallmarks last season, their ability to respond to teams' runs. Last two games, they have been able to do exactly that, and that was the case. They got off to that slow start in the third quarter. The Heat kind of, sort of made it seem like they were going to make a game of it, and then Tatum went nuclear in the third quarter. That was the best. And that's ultimately like where you're going to go with a lot of this game. Like, that's 2 Tatum takeover games and 2 Tatum takeover third quarters that ended up being the entire game. You need that, right? That's got to happen. Like, you like Tatum, who shares the ball and sometimes shoots less and is looking to pass out of doubles and is a table setter and the offense runs through him. But you also like him just going, get the F out of my way. I'm taking over the game. And it's nice to see it against Wiggins. Granted, they were getting switches and, he's getting his matchups there and he's going up against Rozier in that third quarter and getting bigs to switch onto him. But I loved how he did it from everywhere. He'd get all the way to the basket. He, you had the pull-up pull-up 3 game going, but also he had that one exchange where he had a great in that third quarter, maybe around the 70 to 54 mark or something like that, where they, where the score got up to about 16, where he had a great sidestep pull-up 3. And then on the next time he gets the switch on the big switches on him, and he does the hesitation and he goes to the basket and stops dead and hits that midi pull up. I'm like,
the fadeaway. Yeah.
I want that. I want that, because that's the last level of the 3-level scoring that's left him somehow. He doesn't do that.
He could easily. You see Jaylen do that a lot. You see Jaylen pull back.
Yes, I mean, Jaylen does it. Jaylen, in fact, waits for the defense and then turns around and hits an impossibly difficult shot. Right. All Tatum did was just stop. Instead of trying to go to the rack, instead of trying to go to the rack out of control and beat a 7-footer to the rim, risk missing it, falling out of bounds, and having transition go the other way, which Joe hates, he just stopped and pulled up and just dropped it. I'm like, I want that all the time. I feel like that shot should be there for him all the time if he wants it, without having to force, without having to get all the way to the rim. And he doesn't look for it that often.
It's more,
which is strange.
It's not. It's easier to take the 3, and I think sometimes Tatum can be a little moody out there in the court, John. We see it. We see it from game to game, right? And tonight, something snapped, something clicked with him, whatever word you want to use, and he became super aggressive and he became super energetic, running up and down, off misses, running down the court, looking for the outlet pass. He even had there was even one. It won't show up anywhere in the box score, but tried to draw the foul at the 3-point line, didn't draw it, and he still passed out of it. Instead of forcing it up and complaining about a non-call, he was able to make the pass across the court. And I can't remember what happened on the possession, but he made the right play out of that. So a number of examples tonight of him just being in the right mindset, where he just looked super engaged. And sometimes, tonight it took a bit. I mean, he didn't score. I don't even think he scored in the first quarter. It took a while for him to hit that first shot. But then the floodgates opened. Like, even in the third quarter, it took maybe like 5 minutes or so for him to get going. And then he just went full on, just took it to them every chance he could. Al Horford got involved, and they got Al a couple open looks. We haven't mentioned Porzingis tonight, but he was able to contribute a lot tonight. I heard one stat on the broadcast, is forget the number of games, but he's had 16 points in, I think, like 16 straight games. Whatever the number is, 16 plus points, it's a career high for him. And I said this a few weeks ago. Feels like he's playing the best basketball of his career. Active on the defensive end, getting up there for block shots still, and contributing. In the first half, it was Porzingis and Hauser that were the reason that the Celtics even had a lead going into halftime. And then that's when Tatum got hot and things kind of went the Celtics' way from there. But got to give a quick shout out to the Unicorn for sure.
No doubt. And I got to say that I do like this as well. And John Pork might be my new favorite chat member in a very short period of time. He's already there.
I like John Pork.
I like John Pork a lot. Loved seeing Tatum's emotion tonight. Looked like he actually wanted to be out there. Yes, he was fired up. And it wasn't like the self-aggrandizing, like, look at me, kiss to the crowd, like celebratory stuff. He did it too. It was get the out of my way, like
it was bully ball.
Yes. And he was like, I love that. He was fired up. He was going hard and he was really fired up about it. I love that. I mean, look, and so I'll make this point, Jimmy, because when we talk about seeing it and liking it, that's why it's also okay to talk about not liking it when we don't see it. Like, if
Right.
people like seeing that energy from Tatum, that's why I think it's also fair to say when he doesn't do it, I think it has an impact because people want that. You want your leader, you want your best player
100%.
fired up. You want to see him care. You want it, and like people said in the chat, it looks like he cares. And we know he cares with or without doing that. That's just demonstrative. But I loved that reaction.
I
From
mean,
him.
these guys are human, John. There are games where it's obvious. You can tell when a player is more engaged, just like in anything in life. You can tell when somebody is having a good day or having a bad day, or if the outside world is somehow, affecting you at work or whatever it is. But sometimes, and again, not a coincidence that this is on the road, John, I don't think. Less distractions, I think. These guys are able to zone in, focus on the task at hand. I think there's something to be said about being in Miami and there's maybe a couple stars in the arena or at least in the neighborhood and get a little swagger to you. But that's what you want out of your superstars. You want them to have that killer mentality. You want them to look like they're pumped to shoot the dagger, shut the 17 Heat fans up that are at the game tonight. That's what you want.
Yeah, so you always gotta take a dig at the Heat fans. There's no question. We have Joe Mazzulla queued up, ready to go. We're gonna hear from Joe about this win. First, we're gonna tell you about our buddies over at Prize Picks. And yeah, we're past the big game. We're past it.
The big game.
We got a lot of other stuff. All-Star Weekend is coming up almost here. Best place to cash in while watching your favorite players during the Saturday night events, 3-point contest, all of that, the game. Definitely check out Prize Picks. Sign up today. Super easy to play. It's a skill-based fantasy game. All you have to do, pick more or less on two players for a shot to win, two or more players shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And you see the deal on the screen. It's been there. We've been talking about it. $5 gets you 50. It's all you have to do. Play 5, get 50 instantly in your account when you sign up. Download that app right now. Prize Picks, promo code CLNS. Play 5, get 50 in your account instantly. Prize Picks. Run your
game.
Run your game. We are going to jump in and listen to a little bit of Joe Mazzulla as the Celtics take down the Heat here in Miami. Here's Joe.
Below and all four. What did you think allowed you to do that? What did you kind of appreciate about the effort at that end?
I think we did a good job keeping them out of transition, only 8 turnovers, so that they're not able to get out and run, which is something that they do really well. So if you can keep teams out of transition, if you keep them off the free throw line, and if you could hold them, they had 12 offensive rebounds, but we did a decent job of that. I think there was 2 possessions where they had 3 on one possession, so that's 6, and then the other 6 came throughout the game. But just controlled the margins, which allowed us, to kind of be connected on both ends.
Joe, long second half stretch for Jayson there. What goes into the decision to extend that second half stretch when you go to that? I think you did it against New York and then did it again here tonight.
Just feeling the game out, see what we need. Obviously, things change a little bit when we don't have, Jalen or Drew, but at the same time, he's playing really well. He's in a groove. He's, creating for himself, creating for others. But, to me, it's when he's locked in defensively, I enjoy giving him the freedom to play more. And so he's getting more minutes, but he's doing the right thing on both ends of the floor, especially defensively.
Slow start. What changed after they had doubled you guys up?
It wasn't necessarily a slow start. We just, I think we got some really good looks we didn't make, and out of the first 22 points, 10 of those were within our control. They had 6 points of offensive rebounds. They had 4 points in transition, and we fouled a 3-point shooter to start the game. And so I think it was 22 to 12 or something like that. And 10 of those points we knew we could take away. The other ones we were good with. So it was just a matter of continuing to do that and fight for the good shots. But I thought we picked up our activity as far as forcing turnovers and deflections in the middle of that first quarter throughout the rest of the game. That second unit did a good job of that.
You seem pretty animated for for you at the end of the first half when they went on that 7-0 run and Bam hit the three-pointer off the glass at the buzzer. Was it what kind of message you have like after? Like obviously there's a breakdown, but you go into the half, do you immediately start talking about that? Does it kind of flip the switch? Like how do you respond as a coach kind of in those moments?
I mean, listen, those are the things that when we're sitting here and we lose a close game and everyone focuses on the fourth quarter and the last minute and a half and the last shot and all that crap, and you lose the second quarter 7-0 because you don't execute the 2-for-1 and you stab in the backcourt and you give up three plays. That stuff can cost you more than what happens in the fourth quarter. But when you win, no one wants to talk about them. And so we just have to have a heightened awareness of the details of closing out quarters. That to me is the biggest difference between winning and losing. And we got away with it today. I thought, you're obviously not going to play perfect basketball, but I thought the difference between that 7-0 run and the second half is we just didn't let up. And we got back. We got it to 13. They called a timeout, and then we kept building from there. And so just having that sustained success. But that 7-0 run is why we sit here and talk about what happens at the end of close games.
You mentioned Jayson being in a groove right now. What do you like that you're seeing from him as he heads into the break here?
Again, playing both. It's just he's not just being defined by scoring. He's defending at a high level, which is really important for us. And he has to rebound. He has to play defense for us to, be great. And he's doing that. And so when he's playing connected basketball on the offensive end, he's not forcing. He's fighting the right shot, distributing. His potential assists are up, and he's just making plays. So we just need him to continue to play.
Potential assist, shout out, drink.
By scoring. Like, Peyton wasn't really scoring, but I think he was on that whole 19.
Himmelsbach.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. In the middle of the first quarter, once we put him in, I thought he picked up the ball pressure and picked up the deflections, and he spearheaded that unit of just kind of being a little bit more active. And I think he kind of got us on that run. And when you ask about Peyton, he's been doing that all year. He had 25 against New York. He can do it with scoring, but he could also do it doing other stuff. And he only gets 9 shots tonight, 1 for 8, but he has 10 rebounds. Like he's just can impact the game in so many different ways. He's special.
There's Joe Mazzulla talking about Jayson Tatum. Peyton Pritchard had an off shooting night, but he did contribute in other ways. And as Joe said, 10 rebounds, which is something you don't expect to get out of Peyton Pritchard on a regular basis, but he did get it tonight. So again, hats off to everybody there. Good contributions throughout in this game. And again, they didn't shoot it great all game, particularly from 3. One guy who did, we talked about Sam Hauser, but the other guy, see you later, Jimmy.
I'm back. I just needed to get something.
Our man Al, who many people, maybe me too, were worried about and ready to bury. Here's the thing. I do think we make too much out of Al Horford on his nights where he's knocking down threes versus just Al Horford and how he kind of is doing the things Al Horford was supposed to do, which is play defense, be able to switch, hold up against certain bigs. And then obviously you want him to be able to knock down some of those shots as well. But I thought he moved really well tonight too. I thought he looked like, I'm not going to flat out say turn back the clock, but he just looked spry and active in his 33 minutes. And you like to see that. 33 minutes.
33 minutes. Yeah. That's the number that stands out to me.
I thought it's overall excellent, not just on not just because of the shots.
Yeah. No, he was moving out there. Maybe it's that warm weather, John. It's easier on the muscles. It's a lot of the people, a lot of old guys like Horford, they moved to Florida around this time. They get to the end of their lifspan. I'm going to go to Florida. Maybe that's how Horford's feeling right now. He's basically like a dinosaur in basketball years. So this is good for him. No, I'm just being harsh, obviously. Love Horford. Love what he's been able to contribute. 16 points, 10 boards. Again, a double-double. Couple double-doubles. So did Porzingis end up with a double-double, actually? I'm not even sure. But listen, same story with Hauser is with Horford. Those guys were able to contribute in big ways for you last year. Both of those guys, you could make the case, have had less than stellar first halves of this season. Obviously, Hauser's been due to injury. Horford, I think, has just been a little bit slow out of the gates. Maybe they're just, again, biding a little bit time and, knowing that once the playoffs comes around, he'll be ready. But you need these guys to, again, they stepped up a little bit more tonight because you had starters out, but typically them coming off the bench, it's massive for the Celtics team because they're not it happens fast. Like the bench all of a sudden looks thin fast. Maybe we were talking about a couple weeks ago trying to find that backup wing and who's it going to be. And Joe's been trying, a different guy every night to see if anyone wants to crack the rotation and doesn't really seem to have anybody. But if guys like Horford and Hauser are playing similar to how they were playing last year, close to it, we don't even need to worry about who that 10th guy is, John, or the guy who's going to come in and give you a little boost for a few minutes because they're not going to be needed. And so it's a good reminder of what Horford can contribute. Now, he's not like going to be this dominant center. I think that's always going to be something that the Celtics are going to have to deal with, is the fact that, when Porzingis, aside from Porzingis, Cornette is good at what he does. Horford's good at what he does. These are not physically, athletically, bulldozer type guys that are going to rip down 15, 20 boards a game. And that's fine, because what they do for you is they can, or at least Horford, hit the outside shot. Cornette's been light years better on both ends of the court this season than he was when he first came to Boston, and when Bobby insisted on, making him the focal point of his post-game shows. So they are getting production from their bigs more than you might thought they would have.
Yeah,
So,
good game for these guys. And as we mentioned, and again, his 103-point output. The Celtics didn't really set the world on fire here, but the one guy who did when they needed it and kind of turned that game around in the second quarter, Sam Hauser, as we mentioned, just came in and went nuclear there in the second. I think knocking down 4 of his 5 threes in that frame. I might be wrong there, but he 15 points, 5 of 8 from 3. And he really kind of turned the game. They never really looked back. Here's Sam after the game.
I feel like I've been playing well for the last, couple weeks for sure.
How's your
So
back?
I feel pretty good.
What do you think's been the biggest factor in the last couple weeks here?
Quite honestly, I don't know. I mean, just feeling better overall in general in terms of my body. I think that's probably the biggest part.
How far has that come on, in recent weeks?
It's been going well. So I've been feeling a lot better.
all right.
Why does Hauser hate Bobby?
Just a one-on-one with Hauser. Bobby trying to get some injury news there.
Yeah, he's
Listen, it's pretty simple. He feels better. He can move better out there. He's not feeling that whatever sort of back pain he was feeling.
Yeah, Bobby.
Get the foam
When did you
roller
get
out,
good
get
again?
the-
I've been good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start feeling better? I've been feeling fine.
Yeah.
What went on out there? I don't know.
You played well tonight. Oh, okay.
He
Hey,
hates
Sam,
bucket hats. There's
remember
no
when you
other-
hit that 3-pointer? That was awesome.
That was awesome. Remember that when you were going to caught the ball and you hit the 3?
And then you did it like again after. That was cool.
That was awesome.
He's like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. He was good. He was good. You need that, Sam. I've just been informed, for those out there needing your Bobby and your Noah fix, that they've got all they're going to get out of the locker room, and they'll be heading out soon. We've got, I believe,
That's it.
They got everybody. They got them all.
Oh my God.
They got
did
Al.
they just-
We got bedtime Tatum on his big
Oh, we
game,
got Tatum.
and that was
okay,
it.
that's good. All right, cool.
And that's it. They got them all, and they're heading out. So that'll be good.
I mean, the
we'll get
exclusive
Bobby
with
and Noah.
Sam was worth the trip.
That was
in and of
good.
itself.
Thanks, Ahmed. Thanks for teeing that up for us. That was good.
Yeah, dude. Any other must listens?
Yeah.
If you thought Sam was good, wait until you hear Tatum.
Wait until you hear Tatum. Tatum's fired up though. He might be freaking bringing it tonight. So
He's had a little bit more energy in these post games since we actually broke out the bedtime music.
the lullaby.
I feel like he's had a little bit more spark to his post games.
Yeah.
Pause. What did I say? Wait, what did I
Who knows?
say?
Nothing. You're good. So flipping it around on the Heat, because I am curious. You mentioned they'll be back. How did they get
maybe.
I mean, boy, how did I mean, we know how. We watched it happen in real time with
Yeah.
you know, the Butler situation here, but oh my
Heat culture,
God.
John. Heat culture, man. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough if you're a Heat fan or like, I don't know, pretend to be anyways. They didn't have Hero. They didn't have who's that guy? Jaquez? Is that how you say his last name?
They didn't have Jaime. They didn't have Hero.
Yeah, I like him.
And, Jaime
Jaime.
didn't have anybody.
But even if they did, like, what are we really talking about? They have Spoelstra. They'll figure it out. They got Pat Riley, who's determined to put a winning product out there. They've got the city of Miami, so that's always helpful.
Isn't it nice that they're buried, though? I agree with Jayson Tatum here. Like, we hate. I was so.
Thank you.
You and I, dating back to like bubble days, like just had no respect for these friggin' guys. Like come on with Miami, and you keep waiting for them to die, and then they just wouldn't friggin' die, and then they beat you in the conference finals, and I still can't believe that result. I still can't believe that team. No, and then the bubble one they shouldn't have, but I think you were a Hayward turned ankle away from that not happening, and then you're probably a Tatum turned ankle away from surviving that one 2 years ago as well. I don't know how they beat you twice in those conference finals.
But they are that team is done.
That team is dead.
That team is dead. Yeah. They'll be back though. They'll be back sooner than you think. The Eastern Conference, like they'll let the Heat back in this like pretty quick, a year or two.
They'll be back because they're located in Miami and people are going to try to find a way to play there.
You can sell it as the next who wants to be the next big Miami superstar now, but yeah, Celtics don't have to worry about this Heat team or Butler because tell you what though, John, if Butler can like revamp this Warriors team and somehow they go on a run, wow, would that be something? Would that be an NBA Finals match? I don't think he can do it.
Oh my God, if that would be great, actually.
That would be the best case scenario for a matchup.
Who are we seeing out there that was talking about that in terms of the Western Conference? Because like OKC looks like a freaking super team, and there's just like I saw some analysts saying like people like don't think that they're this unbeatable juggernaut out there. I think all the teams in the West are like, we can get there. Like the Lakers are like, we can do this. The Warriors are like, we can do this.
Lakers should be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors with Steph, with Draymond, and then with Butler. Oh my God, that'd be an unbelievable NBA Finals matchup against Boston. It really, really would be. I just don't know if the Warriors can get there. We'll see. Long season.
Yeah, and I think
OKC's great. Don't get me wrong, but I just like their OKC. Like, I don't know. NBA heads would love it, but I feel like the national audience isn't going to love an OKC team in the finals.
I don't know. They're pretty fun. I'm definitely.
They are, but they're just not known.
It's not as sexy as Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green versus the Celtics.
No,
which would honestly
or LeBron and Luka.
That would probably be the sexiest final.
It would be. Let's speak that into existence.
But a lot of people feel this way, which is crazy because they really.
It's because I'll tell you why.
They really asserted their will on the Celtics when they played that time out in OKC, and they just took that game from them and stopped them dead. I don't know. I don't know if people are there, but
OKC should scare you. The reason they don't is because they're just not around enough. They're not in your mind. They're not on your TV. They're not star-studded. SGA is obviously a superstar, and he might be the MVP. I think he's the favorite actually right now. But they're not going to get the hype, and that's why people aren't scared of him. But then they come in, and they just kind of take you by storm. No pun intended, Thunder. But that's what they do.
And that's what they do. We're waiting for Bobby and Noah to jump on. As we said, we're going to hear from Jayson Tatum. We're going to hear from Al Horford, and we're going to hear from you guys in the chat. Curious what you guys want to talk about as well. It was a bit of a snoozer. I'm not going to lie. It's the Heat. It's the Heat. It's kind of a bummer to have them dead because to not have any juice behind these matchups anymore. There's not a lot of juice in a lot of Eastern Conference matchups. And I think that's why, generally speaking, like everything's a little sleepy when it comes to the Celtics this year. Like Cleveland's Cleveland, and these games have been decent, but it's hard to get up for them. The Knicks games have been friggin' laughers. The Pacers haven't been what we thought that they would be, even though they've been playing a little bit better. The Bucks, again, not entirely sure.
Magic,
but there's not that hatred. There's not that fire. Yeah. The Magic are so hurt, and they've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, where are the villains?
We need villains, and then the Sixers blow.
That's the big thing. The Sixers blowing sucks because they're fun to hate, and it's not fun when you're. It's like not fun to hate on you when you're that pathetic. It's kind of sad. So it's tough. There's not a lot of teams you can really get fired up to beat up if you're the Celtics right now, or if you're a Celtics fan. Oh, West, there's a couple, but you only see them a couple times a year. So it's just not the same.
The Celtics
are the villains. You are correct.
Celtics are the villains.
But there's always going to be an opponent, there's got to be somebody that's going to give you a hard time.
Yeah, we are going to have a couple other fun things tonight. The Warriors look like they're going to beat the Bucks in Milwaukee tonight. Jimmy Butler back out there playing in this one as well. And, big game from Curry, 38 points. But you've also going to have the Luka debut and some really, really interesting Anthony Davis news, which came out the other day, which is fun. We'll talk about that again with Bobby when he gets out there. But, like I said, Bobby is threatening to get on the show, so we'll kind of hang out a little bit and see if he can make it. He can make it. I know.
He's having internet issues. He's having Joe Sway internet issues.
No, he'll get there. Might as well mention it here while we wait.
Why don't you do the other read?
Huh?
Why don't you get the other read?
This story is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
The Anthony Davis. Again, I know like nobody knows without having the results themselves here, but the Twitter doctors that I was following talking about, it's not great that it's multiple weeks, because if it was a regular strain, it's usually like a week to 10 days, So the fact that they're like indefinitely or multiple, and they're talking about surgery as a possibility is making me think that like they kind of know surgery is the likely thing, and they're hoping a few weeks of rest and let's look at it again and maybe we can avoid this thing.
They need to wait till the death threats go down a little bit.
What a story that would be. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it was already about as bad as you thought it could get, and then he gets hurt in the first game, and it's. And by the way, by their own admission, they made the trade because they thought it was a win now move. They're not looking years from now, John. They're looking right now. They're looking. The future is now. It's not in 10 years. Nico said he doesn't even think he'll be here in 10 years. Which, by the way, he's right.
Let me ask you guys a question in the chat. Who here likes bucket hats?
Everybody.
I do.
Hands up. Whoa! Yeah. Wait a second.
What's up? A lot of praise for the bucket hat tonight.
Is that a corduroy bucket hat?
What are you doing there?
He's got the corduroy bucket hat, off-white, Miami Vice style.
Let's get a closer look there. Okay. That is.
It is chilly in here, so I went with.
Who are you wearing?
Light jacket, and then a nice short turtleneck underneath.
Short turtleneck. Does that count?
With it's halfway, half turtleneck.
Okay.
So
little half neck.
Pants as well. I am wearing.
You have pants on? That's good.
Yeah. I'm glad, Bobby. Remember what we talked about?
It's a start. Yeah. We want the pants to stay on.
Remember what we talked about? Keep the pants.
Yeah. Wait until the club. Club tonight.
I saw you guys talking about Davis, and I won't go down that road, but it's not a good look for the people like myself who thought it might go okay for the Mavs.
Is this an apology cam?
Let's see how much time he misses. But yeah, it's not looking good. He was like on his way to 40 and 22.
Yeah, you were giving us
I would have
the
been taking a victory
play-by-play.
lap. Yeah.
Yeah, you were giving us the
Yeah.
first quarter stats, and we said, hold on a second.
Yeah, but I think we saw Jayson Tatum's first half finale tonight, given the 21 straight minutes in the second half. That was pretty shocking to watch, wasn't it, John?
Which part?
The 21 straight minutes. When they were
In
up
the
20.
second half?
Yeah, in the second half.
Yeah,
They took him out with
I mean,
about 3 minutes left.
Oh, when
Yeah.
he didn't come back out, yeah.
he played the
Yeah.
whole third and then well into the fourth quarter before he sat down.
Which I
Almost the
love.
whole fourth,
You
too.
know what though? I
like
love
it, Jimmy?
though. Yeah, because he was feeling it and he was getting in the flow. He was in a rhythm. We always look for that out of him. So why pull him and take him out of it? I mean, he was single-handedly carrying that Celtics team in the third quarter, whether he was scoring Bobby or whether he was finding the open man, facilitating. He was doing it all. So I thought it was a great situation for Joe to just leave him in there and say, run the team, run the offense, do your thing. And the chat was talking about it too. Looked like there was like an attitude adjustment from the first half to the second half. Just the way that he was playing, more intense, more emotion. Whether it was, running out in the break, driving to the hoop, getting fouled, kind of flexing into the crowd a little bit. He looked fired up out there, Bobby.
Yeah, he got into a rhythm, and I think it stemmed from the halftime challenge by Joe off of that run going into the half. When I asked Joe about the second half minutes there, he mentioned defense, and I think that was pretty telling that Tatum didn't defend the way Joe wanted him to in that first half. And Jayson, we'll get his sound shortly here, I'm sure, but he said himself too that he felt like he let the Celtics down at a couple points, didn't play a great first half, had a couple moments where he just had lapses.
John.
So I think he took that on the chin. Joe probably got into them a little bit at halftime again, and whether that was Jayson's decision to go long into the second half and try to slam the door shut, which is what he said, or Joe trying to push him to give him a little more there, or just say that this is your last hurrah and you're going to sit on Wednesday. I don't know which of the three that was, but it did end up looking pretty good, Jimmy, especially when he got going there for like 8 out of 9 shots in the third quarter. So I see why they want to carry it over to the fourth quarter a little bit. Jayson said he only expected it to be a couple minutes, and it went a little longer than that. So I do think that was Joe, who was still waving his arm and coaching his ass off on the sideline, going a little overboard there. But Jayson can handle it, fortunately. It's just the back-to-back games. It was a 15-minute stretch in the Knicks game in the second half, and then a 21-minute stretch in this second half of straight Tatum minutes. Guess some timeouts.
What's an
interesting
interesting Tatum game because he was brutal early, and then they went on the run in the second quarter when he wasn't in there. So, it was an odd game. And then when it got close again, he went into total takeover mode in the third quarter. So again, the weird start for him there on both ends of the floor. It looked like he was just kind of hoping it would be an easy one. Again, we've got Tatum. You want to hear from him here? Maybe explain some of that performance.
I
Here
guess.
Are you in right now?
Just trying to stay aggressive.
Oh boy.
I can put 2 really good halves together. But we're playing well right now. Everybody's contributing. 2 big road wins this trip. So it's a great road trip for us.
You played pretty deep into the second half there. I think like 21 minutes straight, something like that. You kind of asked for that. Did Joe kind of push you? Like, what kind of led to extend the stretch there?
I was just trying to stay in that fourth quarter to kind of put the game away. I thought it was going to only be an extra 2 or 3 minutes. It was a little longer than that, but I'm all right.
You look pretty well accustomed to doing that, especially back-to-back games. What is it like being able to generate that level of rhythm out there? Is it difficult to go that long? Like, what are you kind of feeling when you are playing those longer stretches?
It's a challenge, but something I try to pride myself on is playing as consistently as I can. I give a lot of credit to my trainer, Nick. You know, the things that we just do on a daily basis to prepare myself for whatever the game calls for. And, you know, just try to do all the things recovery-wise to be
He's playing all the
in the best
hits.
condition and be as available as I can.
You're kind of along those lines. You're questionable. Feels like every time you're questionable, you end up playing. Is that like you have to talk your way in these situations? Like Brad has said to us, there are times he hopes you take a breather. Like what's the process like? I know you made it pretty clear you want to play basically all the time.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little hard.
Stop it.
I'm not doing anything.
Maybe it's a plan to find a
Who
game
is
for
it?
me to rest
Is it
or
Ahmed
whatever,
again?
and
It's sure it
I may
is.
agree
Yeah.
to it in that moment. And then
Get
we
out.
down here
Stop
and
it,
it's
Ahmed.
Nah, fuck it, I won't play.
No more.
Joe sounded pretty upset about the last minute of the first half. How did he want you to handle that differently? And how upset was he in that moment after they went on a 7-0 run and Bam hit the 3 and everything?
Yeah, he challenged us. And, you know, a lot of it was on me. I think we fouled somebody, 2 free throws, and then I shot the ill-advised 3. They get a leak out in transition.
Damn it,
Then I missed the layup and stab in the back.
What's driving me crazy right now, Jimmy? Can you tell me?
You know, a lot of that was my fault. I put us in some tough
The mic,
positions.
yeah, the microphone on the
Just
top
kinda let
left.
me know
A
that.
goddamn camera in the upper left. Bobby,
So,
zoom in.
Just responded in the
Oh,
second
the
half.
camera. I thought it was a microphone.
You grew up watching Kobe, watching Lakers. Obviously, you are now in the big rival, but for that kid
What kind of a
that
camera
started
is that?
watching Kobe and all the kids that today will start to watch Luka, what can it mean for a team like Lakers or for those kids to see a big star like Luka playing for the Lakers?
I don't know. I know a lot of kids watch the Celtics play.
It's a big change for the NBA, for the league.
I mean, yeah, that was a big trade and a big change. But, you know, I'm not a little kid anymore, so I don't really watch the Lakers play. I'm a big Celtics fan.
Yeah.
Back-to-back third
Damn
quarters
right.
where you've had these kind
He
of
loves
massive
us.
scoring explosions. Is there something in your mindset
doesn't
coming out of
like
the half that just
Tatum
kind of makes you want
likes
to be more
me.
aggressive? Do you think it just takes you're kind of surveying the game, and in the third quarter you kind of figure it out what the right reads are more, or is it just a coincidence?
I mean, it's always about making the right read. I think the way that we ended that first half, you know, a lot of that was on me. You know, I just didn't have much of an imprint on the game as I normally do in that first half. So it was just kind of time for me to wake up in the second half.
Jason, last question. Jason, when you're playing a team that's turned over as much as the Heat have over the past few days, three new players in the rotation, was it any different in terms of the preparation tonight? I know you've seen Wiggins before and others before, but what was that like for you guys?
You know, it's an adjustment when guys get traded and you got new teammates and things like that. And, you know, great organization, well coached, so they're going to figure it out. We just ain't wanted to start against us tonight. So, you know, just trying to be as locked in as possible. And, you know, for the most part, we did that.
All right.
And we're back.
Whoa.
We'll welcome in Noah. Snuck in there under the banner. Nobody saw her.
Noah
How's it going, guys?
coming in on
What's going on?
320. You there?
I'm there.
All right, cool. We can see you. Let's get your
Where's
thoughts
John?
before we lose you. John is, I'm not sure.
Am I blurry like Bobby, or is it just Bobby?
You're a little blurry too, but that's okay. We still love you.
It might be time to hotspot. The Wi-Fi here is tough.
What?
Um,
The Wi-Fi is tough. Yeah, that's not blurry. That's Bobby's hat, actually. That he's coming in very clear.
should I come back in, or do you want to stick with this?
Let's just stick with it for now. John can make the call, but John, and she's gone. Did you make the call,
Yeah.
John?
I did
Okay.
make the call.
Sorry, Noah.
Subtly.
I was overruled. I was gonna let Noah at least give us like one thing from the game.
I wanted it
so rudely
because
kicked her off.
because that's a lot of bucket hat otherwise, you know. So we're trying to
It's a
balance it out. and
lot
get
of
Noah.
bucket. Yeah.
It's a lot of bucket hat there.
I like the last answer from Tatum there about him on first half, and I like the response. Jimmy likes the second half minutes. I think that one can go either way. If it went badly or you wore down or
badly?
whatever might happen with playing extra minutes. I mean, you don't love playing a guy 21 minutes straight in a 20-point game.
I guess not, but what? I mean, they're gonna
Especially
they're gonna
after
go on the
how many
All-Star
plays
break in a
today.
week.
That's why I think they did it. I don't think he's playing Wednesday.
You don't think he plays Wednesday
this is
against
it.
Wemby?
No, I think they're probably rotating Brown and Tatum there, don't you think? Brown sits tonight, Tatum sits Wednesday, especially since they're both going to play and all this stuff over the weekend. Just get them off their feet for a game. And that Spurs game doesn't mean too much for them, even though it's exciting. So I do think he'll sit that one out.
Noah,
If
you're
How am I
back.
get him
now?
to.
All good?
Perfect. All good. Talk to us. What are your
Just start
thoughts?
saying my thoughts on the game.
Say
Yeah,
a
just say your thoughts.
say a basketball
Okay.
thing.
Yeah,
I
do
just
the
don't wanna come
basketball.
in and just take over. So second half, I thought obviously like that last minute, that it was actually a rare negative question and a win for me. But last minute of the first half, Joe Mazzulla was as mad as I've seen him, and just hated that end from Tatum. And Tatum was really kind of owned up to it post game as well, as we just heard. But I thought that third quarter was just so special, and just this whole run that he's been on these last few games, just I feel like we're watching like a really superstar, high caliber player. And obviously we know it, but we're not always in these stretches where we get to watch him like this. Sometimes it's, he's one of many guys that's scoring, one of many guys that are contributing. But these last two games, back-to-back third quarters, that he just takes over the game, blows it open, 20 points in this one on 8 of 11 shots. And he turned what could have been a comeback run, could have been a little bit of a push here, just totally put the game out of reach. So that's the big story to me. And then Al, I don't know if we've played Al sound yet, but Al really made a concerted effort to say, Pritchard was the guy that kind of,
Oh, I thought you were going to spoil it, but we do have Al sound
I wasn't
here.
going
You
to say
won't
your
believe
thing. I
how he
wasn't going
answered this. Okay.
Bobby, you might want to switch to hotspot too. I don't think the Wi-Fi is doing us any favors here. But I was just going to say, I think, he was asked like what kind of turned the game around, and everybody, shots start falling, all that. Those are the easy answers. Sam kind of talked about that. But Al really said, like, Pritchard came in and, he didn't shoot well. He was took 2 for 8 from the game tonight, but just his pace and his energy totally changed the flow of the first half when he came in at the 7-minute mark. And I didn't want to be the one to have to say it, because obviously when I say Pritchard things, it doesn't necessarily land the same, but Al went out of his way and just kind of made that point. So I do think that was a big energy shift, because they came out a little bit slow. And it hit, he kind of came in and just dribbling the ball, distributing, driving to the basket, finding open guys. It doesn't always manifest in anything for him in the box score, but it did really help the team today.
You've said this before too. You said it's usually a good sign when Hauser's getting looks, and tonight he was getting looks and hitting looks. Is he back? Is he officially back? No pun intended.
So Sam Hauser, this is like maybe the fact that I've said the most times this year, but he has never shot below 40% from 3 in any season, high school, G League, college, NBA, and started the year really slow, and now he's back to 40%. So it's one of those things. It's almost a given at this point to me that Sam Hauser is a 40% 3-point shooter. You just have to find him those shots. You have to give him those looks, and he doesn't like talking about himself too much. He's not going to give himself too much credit, but he did say that he's feeling better. And you can certainly see that on the court, that he's just moving better. And I do think like his shot attempts, their ability to find him, he's out there because he shoots 3. So if they can't find him, that's a failure in execution for me. That's why I like looking at his shot attempts, because if you're a 3-point shooter, that's his thing, and he's on the court for 25 minutes and gets 1 look, you're not executing well. You're not fine unless they're just doubling him or they're overplaying.
I guess I'm back.
So yeah, I do love the fact that he got those 8 looks, and I think first half he was really key to turning things around, because they just needed something. They needed something to go, and he was 3 for 4. So in the first half, so it was huge.
So I agree with all that. I like that he's feeling better too. He said that, and I think it shows over the last couple of weeks here, even though he's obviously still managing whatever he's going through there. John asked me a question earlier about another one of the bench players, and Al got asked about how he feels about the team going into the All-Star break. And you won't believe how he answered this question, John.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've gotten back to Celtics, the identity that you guys want to have, and how have you done that?
Yeah, I feel like we're playing, really good basketball, and we're continuing to get better. I think we're continuing to take steps towards that, and I feel like Luke Cornett has been key for us when you talk about that identity and the way that we want to play. He's protecting the rim at an amazing level, and defensively he's given us a lot of stability. And then from there, I feel like we're all kind of filling in. But I just been impressed how he's been able to do that, and because of that, I feel like all of us are kind of stepping it up a little more, and we're getting close to answer your question to that level that we need to be.
Whoops.
So that's Al Horford's.
John leave?
I think
that's
John got. Look what you did, Bobby. Look what you did.
I didn't do it. He did it.
You set John up for a Luke answer, and he did not see that coming.
That was completely unprompted, Jimmy. He got asked, "How do you feel about you guys going into the second half?" And his first thought was to say, "Luke Cornett's playing out of this world."
And you were there for it.
If I wasn't there for it, I would think it was one of those AI generated things where you think you're watching a real clip and then it goes off the radar. Like if I wasn't there for it, I don't know that I would believe it, because he really he turned a "how are the Celtics doing" question to a Luke Cornett Bobby level propaganda. So the second it happened, I was like, this is going to be another 10-minute segment. The second you said it.
Well, what happened to Luke tonight, Bobby?
It wasn't a Luke game. I said to Noah when he came in early that this wasn't a Luke game. You got Ware, you got Bam going all over the place. Ton of athleticism in that Heat front court. So those are the matchups that are tougher for him, I feel like. And Porzingis was rolling. He was awesome in this one. Horford gave them a huge lift. I thought he was amazing in that first half. So those guys were ready for this one. You didn't need Luke. And this wasn't a Luke game. So those are going to happen. There's going to be matchups where he's not as strong, where he's not as fit to match up with the opposing front court. But the Knicks, that's a good Luke matchup.
Sorry, John. I didn't know that it was going to be a triggering answer for you.
I got set up.
Wasn't that amazing?
You got set up.
I got set up.
I had to compose.
I'm not gonna sit here and get pranked on my own show. Freaking, I'm out. No,
I didn't do anything.
I just needed my charger. I was listening. I just needed the charger. I was listening. Yeah. So guys,
Noah,
I gotta decompress.
Are the Heat dead? The Heat, as we know them, Bobby and Noah, are they donezo? This is just a corpse of a formerly competitive, once proud franchise.
I think they're going to be a tough out for anybody still. I think they're still going to have that identity that, I don't think it would left with Jimmy. I actually like their pickups for considering just how messy this trade situation was. But honestly, no Tyler Hero, he's been so critical to what they've been able to do on the offensive end this season. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, unless the Celtics have a letdown game, which obviously always on the table, they're just totally outmatched. So I don't think they're done. I actually like the fact that they're going to stay competitive. They're not going to be bottom feeders, but I don't know that they have personnel to really make a real push the way that they have a couple of these most recent seasons.
Yeah.
I slid Al a note, Jimmy, and I said, read this.
Oh, is that what you're talking at that? I was trying to figure out what comment in the chat it was.
I was like, read this word for word.
Bobby's in the back. Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't like what I saw tonight. It's the first game for those guys, no Hero, so can't pull too much from it. But they're going to struggle to score points. It looked like for the second half, Jimmy, there was a lid on the bucket. And
I know.
no
They couldn't even hit anything.
Did,
even at the rim, it was just rolling out.
Yeah, it was tough to watch.
It was gross.
And, I thought the Celtics played good defense in this one, but 85 or whatever it was, it was ugly. But it'd be a rock fight if you had to play them. You'd probably sweep them, 5 at most. But they'll get into the playoffs, I think, with what they have, and they're not a team that's going to advance out of the first round here.
No,
probably not. No,
I don't think the Celtics have to worry about what we were talking about. What if they? Let me ask you this: Butler going to Golden State, does he make them good enough? Does he make them good enough to go to the NBA Finals? Could the Celtics potentially see Jimmy Butler again?
Probably not, but I think it's more that they don't have the stuff around the big three. There's just too little depth on that team right now. I mean, they went to a two-way guy at center recently in Quinn Post. Kuminga's been hurt, and is super streaky anyway. They've been all over the place with their role players, Buddy Hield and everything else. So it's too tough of a conference, Jimmy. If they catch some breaks and some injuries and stuff go the other way, they're more formidable. Like, they're not going to miss the playoffs now, which they were on their way to doing.
They took down the Bucks tonight.
I like how they look. I like those way Jimmy and Curry play off each other. That's who I wanted to see Jimmy end up with there. But it's way too tough of a conference. I think the other teams are just so much better. You wouldn't want to face them out there. I don't think there are many teams you want to face in the West. But I will say they're going to make the playoffs now definitively. And before that trade, I probably would have said they were going to miss the playoffs.
John, are you still with us?
No, I don't think you'll be seeing the Warriors.
I've
in the
never heard you
finals,
this quiet, John.
I'm out of stuff.
He's preoccupied.
I'm like, are you mad at us?
No, they scored.
Noah, could you see the Warriors?
No,
there
we
were
did
two
an
things
hour
that
on
happened
this
in this
game already. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
mean,
but
we
you guys
talked.
always do an hour.
Sam
This
Hauser,
is a tough one.
Sam Hauser hit some shots in the second quarter. Jayson Tatum hit a bunch of shots in the third quarter, and then nothing else happened. And that's it. And I've had to sit through a Sam Hauser interview and the Jayson Tatum interview, and those were
Oh, I
both
didn't know you guys
rough.
listened to
And then
Sam.
Bobby jacks me up with that Al thing. I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. I'm out of angles. I'm out of angles. I already did they're better without Jalen stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Are you?
I actually
know
liked
is
it better when you replied.
Just
Never mind.
sink. Yeah.
Are you excited for the Spurs?
It's
Wednesday?
All-Star break. We all need to recharge our batteries a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
Look at
up,
me.
Bob?
I was gonna say, are you excited for the Spurs Wednesday?
I am, but not if Tatum doesn't play.
Yeah.
Like I want to. Let's play the game, and it is fun to watch them. So that is, that'll be good.
I think Tatum should play. It's a home game.
Yeah, I think he should
Fans
play.
He should play. He
fans
should
are-
play 48 minutes.
Yeah. Why stop? No, but
Just
Wemby
keep
coming
going.
to town will
He's
be
on a roll.
a spectacle. Will be a spectacle for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I want
yeah.
it. This is
fun.
I can't do the Heat anymore. They're so freaking boring. It's just that they really are. I was lamenting the lack of rivals that the Celtics have at this point in time. It really makes it hard to get up for any of these. Like, I guess in name, the Bucks are still there, but they're not the same. And they might have taken a step back after the trade deadline. Sixers are trash. You've completely demolished the Knicks twice that don't look like they're in your league. And Cleveland's just hard to get excited for, even though they're really good. So I'm looking for some juice out of some of these games here. It's hard to find it.
It's got to be.
When you get a good Western Conference team or like one that's interesting, that's kind of what I want to see, because you never get to see them.
Lakers.
There's curiosity, huh?
Like, I think if the Lakers make a little push here, they're moving up the Western Conference standings. They obviously have a new star, and Luka already has like one series
They
against
botched
the
the
Celtics. That
trade.
could be. What was it?
The trade did
the Mark
happen.
Williams thing? They'll figure something out. They'll get bailed out somehow. They'll find some two-way guy or something. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to continue to kind of move up. They've been like sneaky pretty good this season. Like, their actual record has been pretty good. I think they're 4th or 5th in the West after a pretty tough skid there. So that's one.
Plus
but I
LeBron
just
is
wanna say,
LeBron.
this is six road wins in a row for the Celtics and 6 of 7 games won. Like, I do feel like the tides are turning a little bit on just their effort night in and night out. And it's not perfect, and there've been some letdown losses in this stretch. But we were in a like a 6-week period of like alternating wins and losses, and we were out of that period. So I do think that there's like, it's not perfect, but they're they're responding to runs a lot better as well. Like, there's this game and the next game, they let up and then they just totally kind of responded to that run, and that's what separated them from being. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We were here for you. We're here for you on that one, Noah. Yeah, we're here for that.
Yeah, we pay attention.
I didn't know.
It's right.
We follow
would
you
agree.
on Twitter.
I agree, Noah. I think that's fair, and that's probably the best thing to come out of this stretch is we spent so much of last year talking about how the year before they lose this game, that we said that a million times. This is the type of game they lose in 23.
Yeah.
And they won a lot of those games where they weren't shooting the ball well, or games where they started poorly, or games where they blew a lead, and ended up close, and then they found a way to win it late. Games that they were playing without their overall best effort. And that's how they were stringing together 6 and 7 and 8 wins in a row multiple times throughout the year. It wasn't that they were on a run where they're playing magical basketball for the whole, for 3 weeks at a time. It was, they were constantly finding ways to win games no matter what. They did what they needed to do. And that's kind of where they are right now, mixed in with some, better consistent effort that's lasting for longer periods of the game, as opposed to like literally taking 3 quarters off and then hoping you could turn it on late. So I think all of that is relatively positive. I guess if you toss the Dallas game, which was disgraceful, on the whole, it's been pretty good for enough of a stretch here to start to feel like they might be coming out of it a little bit. Because you're right, the funk was consistent. You could almost set your clock to it, which is they're going to have a bad win, a so-so win, a horrible loss, and one win where you'll feel pretty good about it. And that would be your 4-game cycle. They'd come out of it 3-1, but you'd feel icky. You don't feel quite the way they've been playing recently.
And John, the other thing is I think this has been kind of your big thing, is that you're not sure if it's like an effort thing or like a energy thing, or if they're actually regressing. And I feel like the fact that they've been able to string together, especially on the road and especially against good teams, these wins point more to like some nights they're just not bringing it. Like these home losses, they're just kind of letdown games. And correct me if I'm paraphrasing you wrong, but I feel like your take was that that's better, that there's been some letdown games during this stretch than like that they've lost a step or
versus sucking.
Teams have figured them out. Yeah. And so I think this most recent like 5-6 weeks here, or maybe less, like 4 weeks, have shown that they actually can, that when it comes to Cavs, Knicks, like these big time games, they're getting up and they're playing really well. And I do feel like, Oklahoma City was like maybe one big exception to that, but generally speaking, they've gotten up for these games, or not that they didn't get up for that one, but they've been able to look like a really championship contender, front runner team.
My blame pie on things that are causing them to be inconsistent, not people, is probably the effort being part of it. The other equal part being oddly relearning how to play with a full team, which was weird and rockier than I expected it to be, because they were playing really crappy at a time that they regained full health for the first time, which was bizarre. And then the way distant would be like, maybe they're actually just worse. And even if like, Holiday's 5% worse this year, then it's not enough across the board where you'll be like, wow, they just stink. Cause that would be the most worrisome of all. But Noah, we mentioned this earlier too. It is interesting how sometimes when they have an incomplete roster, because guys have to sit,
I was just going to say,
you're getting better versions of a lot of people. So that problem is still kind of there with them when you have a fully loaded roster, about the mouths to feed, and how do you get Jalen his looks, and then make sure that you're kicking it to Porzingis in the post all the time to take advantage of mismatches, but also let Jayson be Jayson. But don't forget Derek White's good too. And Pritchard's got to get 14 shots a game as well.
Holiday.
Otherwise he's not. And then whatever. So like, they're down a couple guys tonight.
No, it's a great point, John.
Yeah.
And Porzingis was such a focal point tonight, and Tatum able to play those extended stretches, as we've talked about with the rotations. He looks so good in those, but he's not able to do that with Brown out there, and you still need to be able to get Brown touches. And Porzingis, is he involved at that point? It feels like I think with the Porzingis thing, and I was talking to someone here trying to figure that out, because he's been so good, but when he's played with the full group, they're
not good with him. Yeah,
and I can't figure it out. The two don't add up to me. Obviously, some opposing shooting, I think, a big factor there. But
he looks great.
Is it just a matter of they're getting him the ball and the possession ends there, and everyone's just standing around waiting for it to end, and that kind of kills the flow offensively a little bit? Maybe the speed of those lineups isn't as good. They've been one of the slower teams in the league, John, through this recent stretch. So I still think we have to see them at full strength and see how they're playing off each other at this point, because there have been a lot of guys coming in and out of the lineup in the recent games here where they've gotten rolling, especially Tatum, who's just able to take over on his own. And, we love it. We want to see it as often as we can, but there's a whole team of other guys that have to be involved here. So it can't just be the Tatum show, as amazing as this would be to see every night.
But on a night like this, when you don't also have Brown and you don't have Holiday, Tatum can go into takeover mode, put up his numbers, and then you still get every single starter in double figures. And that's something you can't always do without being like, oh, geez, they ignored Jalen all game or they did this and that. Like the guys got the amount of shots you would expect those guys to get. 11 from Horford, 15 for Porzingis, 10 from White. Sure, maybe you get him involved a little bit more. Pritchard comes in, 9 shots off the bench. Like that's equal distribution, but that's with 2 fewer mouths. So again, it is interesting that like I didn't think that would be a problem. We talked about it recently. That felt like it was a last year's problem. I'm surprised it's reared its head this year, where they're like, now that they got healthy again, they're still kind of figuring out how to do it.
And I think in the regular season, they almost benefit from having the players out. I felt the same last year, and I think their record reflected that as well, that they benefited from having a star or 2 out, generally speaking, as long as it wasn't Derek White. But I don't know if that's transferable to the playoffs, because in the playoffs, coverages get different. There's a lot more scheming, and I think all of a sudden now you have a really
you need everybody.
You need everybody.
Well, it was last year with no Porzingis too.
Yeah, that's true. So it's more speculative than previous years, I'm saying. But I do think that there's going to be value. Like there were moments, depending on the matchup last year, they didn't really reach that point, but there could have been series where like throwing Porzingis into the mix could have really helped them. And I felt like they weren't tested as much as they almost they had such a lead in the competition where they were able to win.
They had the easiest path ever.
I wouldn't say that, but I do feel like there could have been matchups where all of a sudden like another big scoring option could have been really helpful. So it's all.
It was easy. They got away with it.
Yeah.
They got away with it.
No, they're gonna need everybody this year.
Yeah.
Facts, my dog.
Nah, Jimmy, you don't get to do that.
Facts,
yeah, I do.
My dog.
No, you don't.
That's how it was born. That's literally how
I am facts, my dog.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's me. So we are going to wrap unless you guys have final thoughts here on
Super Bowl
situation. No, we're not going to let them do
Super Bowl.
No, not you guys.
I went to bed early.
Hang up. Yeah, Bobby's got the bucket hat on. He can't go to bed right now. He's got
I can't do it. I spent my entire class tonight talking Super Bowl. I'm actually toast on that too. So I can't do it.
It stunk. There you go.
I was just happy because I'm always rooting for the NBA over the NFL. So I feel like a bad Super Bowl is like a win for the NBA. So
nice. I like that. I like
That's
that
the
energy,
meanest thing
Noah.
I've ever heard you say, Noah.
I like that energy, Noah.
Mean?
That's so mean.
Why does that mean? I don't even know the rules of football. This is good. This is my best interest.
You're trying to take down the NFL to boost your own.
The NBA sucks. The NFL is everything. So I just, win for the NBA.
Fair enough.
I like that.
Fair enough.
I'm with Noah on this. I'm glad that the game stunk.
We'll
I'm glad
it's
the Chiefs got
I'm sorry to those of you that wanted to watch a great Super Bowl and it was bad.
It's too late.
So mean. I'm glad you guys. I'm glad your day was ruined. America.
Really? You couldn't enjoy? I thought everybody wanted the Eagles to win.
Let's do 30 minutes. Let's do 30 minutes on the halftime show. John, you start.
What I want to, I spent a lot of time talking about with my students about that as well. I loved that conversation because it was 2 different worlds consuming that halftime show. It was really funny seeing one of them. I do want to ask the chat, how many bowls of chili in a day do you think is a lethal dose? Because I'm a little concerned right now. I'm not feeling great.
For yourself?
For yourself?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think that's
the limit does not exist. Yeah.
That's a good note to end on.
I might have had too much.
Words, John?
Did some pigs in a blanket yesterday. That was pretty good.
Lethal dose.
Yeah, I'm a little worried.
Chili. Did you make the chili, John?
I made a chili, yeah. That was
feel
my
like you'd
Super
make
Bowl.
a decent chili.
And I kind of eyeballed it. Just winged it. It was all right.
Chili you can do
it was
that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. Threw some funky stuff in there. Some chocolate, some espresso powder.
That's what I mean. See, I knew that you were going to get weird with it.
Whoa.
Yeah, some weird stuff. Yeah.
That might explain the lethal dose.
I was going to say, it's all making sense now.
It was good. 2 to 3 could be lethal. It's all I ate today. I just had 2 bowls of chili, so I don't know.
Is that
We'll
why
see
you
there.
kept
What did
getting
you-
off screen? It's like
What did you
funneling
do?
chili.
No beans, just meat.
That's good.
What did you do, Jimmy? Made a nice
I
vegan
went to
chili.
my friend's house. They actually did they did the majority of it, but we had pigs in a blanket. That was the big thing. I just crushed those for most of it. There was a tortilla soup that was very good, similar to chili, I guess, in a way, but not quite. But probably like a cousin to chili is tortilla soup. Did that pretty good. They had some other odds and ends stuff, but yeah, overall it's pretty good. I will say this: I made $900 on Super Bowl squares last night. I got lucky.
I have to tell you the worst story ever, but go ahead.
I had Eagles 7, Chiefs 0, and it pays out every time the score changed. It paid out, and the Eagles and obviously the Chiefs never scored, so it was 0 every time. And the Eagles hit 7 3 different times, so I got paid out 3 different times. It was unbelievable.
So one of my friends, one of my best friend's college buddies, was playing a massive square, where the final score, it was a $3,000 square, and the final square was worth $120,000, and he was on it. He had it before
until
the garbage
Hopkins?
time touchdown to Worthy. He had it.
Worthy,
$120,000, and then friggin' Mahomes stays in the game and pads his stats with a 50-yard bomb to Worthy. I would literally have driven.
That would ruin.
I'd be in Missouri right now.
Yeah.
I'd be looking to murder Patrick Mahomes for that. $120,000. Oh,
but there's some guy out there.
I'm sicker than if I ate 4 bowls of chili. That kills me right there. That's a tough one.
Damn.
Anyway,
that's tough.
we will let Bobby and Noah go because they have work to do and they're coming home. We have another game coming up on Wednesday, the last one of the All-Star break, and then our intrepid reporters are headed off to San Francisco to take in the All-Star festivities as the Celtics will be on a little extended break, which is nice. We thought, Noah, we were hoping for the break for them to get right. Turns out they're getting right heading into the break. Maybe we don't want it to come now, but you do expect Holiday to return healthy coming off of that. Hopefully to see your new man, Torrey Krug.
Krug.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I was like, really?
I like his outfit tonight. You see that?
He's a hockey player. I've been calling him Torrey Krug the whole time.
Torrey Craig's he's a bit of a fashionista, Bobby. You and him have a lot in common.
He has a different vibe. I was telling Bobby, I think he has a different vibe than a lot of other players on the Celtics.
Different. He's vibey. Is he like vibey?
Like a little swag. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of diamonds dancing on his outfit.
A lot of diamonds. You and him have a lot in common, like with style, you think?
I'd like to be wearing that, but I do not.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to wear the diamonds, Bobby, but you got your own.
No, the outfit itself is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I posted it if people want to see it, but
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. We're gonna wrap it. Thank you guys for hanging out.
We're all set.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Bobby. We will see everybody.
Tom Brady is
back
the
here.
GOAT. Patrick Mahomes is trash.
Yep. See y'all.
No
one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me. I'll tell you
Okay, you know what, John? We're gonna do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way.
Yeah.
Let's fly out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We are not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke